How safe is the food sitting in your kitchen right now? That carton of eggs, that bag of lettuce, even that healthy yogurt you pack for your family. Are they nourishing your family, or are they silent threats waiting to strike? Recent nationwide recalls paint a terrifying picture: over 20 million eggs linked to salmonella, 200,000 cans of green beans possibly contaminated with unknown foreign objects, yogurt cups filled with sharp plastic shards, and even water bottles that can explode with enough force to cause permanent blindness. These aren't rare luxury products, just cheap staples retirees, working families, and parents rely on every single day. If trusted brands like Aldi, Walmart, Danone, Del Monte, and Costco are gambling with your health, how much of your everyday shopping is actually a game of Russian roulette? How many more recalls will it take before you start questioning the food you thought was safe? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Let's dig deep into this mess. Number 1. Aldi. Have you ever noticed how Aldi sells itself like that helpful neighbor who swears they're always looking out for you walk in? And it feels almost reassuring with the plain shelves, the no-nonsense layout, and the prices that whisper, "Don't worry, we've got you covered." It's like being handed a secret handshake into the club for people who know how to stretch a dollar until it squeaks. For anyone trying to make every grocery trip count, Aldi has always worn the mask of the dependable friend. But here's the gut punch question. What kind of friend plays games with your health just to save a buck? Because that's exactly what's happening, whether Aldi wants to admit it or not. The chain is neck deep in recalls spreading across 37 states, and the reasons are the kind that make your stomach flip. Undeclared allergens and contamination risks. Think about that the next time you toss one of their budget-friendly dinners into your cart, if you're allergic to dairy, nuts, or gluten. A missing allergen label isn't some small oopsie. It's like sitting at a poker table where the dealer is slipping live bullets into the deck. And it's not just random products. The recalled list reads like the menu of an average weeknight in working-class America. Chicken and cheese taquitos from Casamita, pork carnitas, stuffed Atlantic salmon, churro bites with hazelnut cream, even Welby vitamin B supplements. These are the quick fixes, the things people grab after a long day because cooking from scratch isn't always an option. But behind that convenience lurks a cheap trick. It's Aldi's relentless cost-cutting. Experts have been warning for years that relying on low-bid suppliers, many overseas, is a contamination disaster waiting to happen. One inspector in Illinois even logged seafood being stored several degrees above the safety limit. Picture that for a moment. Fish sitting in what's basically lukewarm soup because someone upstairs decided a proper cooling system wasn't worth the money. Makes you wonder, are you buying dinner or a Petri dish dressed as salmon? And let's not pretend human error isn't part of the recipe. Former employees have spilled stories about Aldi's distribution centers running like chaotic racetracks, where stocking quotas are king, and safety is an afterthought. One worker described it best. It's like driving a car on bald tires. Just keep going until something blows, and when that blowout comes. It's not a tire on the highway, it's a mislabeled box sneaking onto shelves. Or worse, contaminated food ending up on your table. What makes it all worse is the way Aldi keeps plastering those cheerful slogans, farm fresh, family favorite, across its products, like putting lipstick on a pig and hoping no one notices. It's the same old sales pitch, smiling at you while quietly gambling with your health. But you're not trapped, no matter how much they want you to feel like you are. Lidl, their European rival, has been earning better marks in food safety, particularly for meat and seafood. And watchdog groups have praised its stricter quality checks and faster transparency when recalls hit. And for those willing to take a different path, local farmers markets or community co-ops often surprise people with prices that compete with Aldi. You actually get to look the person in the eye who handled your food. That's a whole lot better than trusting a faceless chain to do the right thing when it's already been caught cutting corners. Aldi wanted you to believe it was the friend that cared, the one who understood. But every recall rips that mask a little more. Saving a few dollars feels like a bad bargain when the hidden cost might be a hospital visit, or something you can't put a price tag on. Number 2. Walmart. Walmart has long wrapped itself in the image of being the great American safety net. The place you run to when your wallet feels too thin to stretch anywhere else. It's the store where a single trip can cross off every item on a grocery list and still leave a few dollars for gas. Parents shop for back-to-school supplies and dinner ingredients in one sweep. Retirees on tight pensions push carts full of bargains without feeling like they're overspending. And tired workers stop by after late shifts knowing they can find what they need at a price that doesn't sting. It has sold itself as the big box neighbor with a big heart. Always there, always dependable. But what if that friendly neighbor is quietly slipping poison into your home? What if the very chain built on the promise of affordability is stocking shelves with products that can blind you, poison your children, or worse? That's not just a scare tactic. It's already happened. 850,000 Ozark Trail stainless steel insulated water bottles were recalled because their lids could blow off violently, especially when holding carbonated or perishable drinks like milk or juice. 2 people have already suffered permanent vision loss. Think about that for a moment. A water bottle, something as harmless as hydration, turning into a mini grenade. Imagine packing one in your grandchild's sports bag or filling it with iced tea for a summer road trip, only to have it explode into someone's face with the force of a fist. One family reported the lid shot off so fast it caused irreversible eye damage, and that's just the beginning of the bad news. Walmart also recalled SPTY brand children's bikes, both the 14-inch and 18-inch models, due to dangerously high levels of lead in multiple parts. Lead, as every parent knows, is a toxic metal that permanently damages children's brains and nervous systems. There's no safe level of exposure, according to the CDC, yet here we are, talking about the very bikes you'd expect to see a smiling kid riding up and down a quiet cul-de-sac on a sunny afternoon. Now picture that same child gripping handlebars coated in invisible poison. For a company that loves to plaster family-friendly across its ads, this is more than a slip-up. It's a betrayal that stings like salt in an open wound. The worst part: these disasters aren't just random mistakes. They're symptoms of a system built to squeeze every penny. No matter the cost, Walmart's sprawling supply chain depends on the cheapest possible bidders, many operating in factories where safety checks are little more than a suggestion. Labor rights groups and insiders have accused Walmart of pushing suppliers so hard to cut costs that quality control becomes nothing but an afterthought. One former supplier compared it to squeezing blood from a stone and not caring what ends up in the blood. When the race to stock shelves faster and cheaper trumps safety inspections and ethical sourcing, the inevitable losers are the shoppers trusting those shelves. Even inside Walmart's own warehouses, the situation isn't better. Employees describe grueling shifts in overcrowded spaces, rushing to move shipments with no time to inspect them. You don't check, one former worker admitted. You just stack, push, and move like a machine. If something's wrong, you find out only when a recall hits the news. By then, of course, it's too late. The product is already in your kitchen, your cabinet, or your child's hands. The irony is hard to miss. Walmart's commercials still beam with smiling families, fresh produce, and employees who look like they live to help you. But the picture painted by these recalls feels more like a horror movie dressed up in cheerful packaging. It's the friendly neighbor waving at you every morning while quietly dumping rotten garbage over your fence. If walking away from Walmart isn't realistic for you, there are safer paths. Meijer, for instance, has been recognized for stricter quality control measures, especially in children's products and household goods. Consumer safety groups report far fewer recalls on Meijer's private label products than Walmart's. For outdoor gear and reusable water bottles, REI Outlet frequently offers clearance deals close to Walmart's prices, and they hold suppliers to far stricter testing standards. And if you need a bike for your child, consider local specialty bike shops or community resale programs, which often sell gently used, safety-certified bikes at prices that won't wreck your budget. Walmart has spent decades convincing Americans that low prices equal peace of mind. But what peace is there in a deal that ends with hospital bills or permanent injuries? That smiling logo might promise savings, but when the real cost is hidden in lifelong damage, it feels less like a bargain and more like a cruel joke. Number 3. Danone. Danone has spent years slipping into American homes as if it were the good-natured guest who always brings something nice for the kids. Its Yo Crunch line, with its bright packaging and playful candy or cookie toppings, has been sold as the fun yogurt, the kind of treat parents can toss into lunchboxes without a second thought. It's marketed as the perfect compromise, sweet enough to keep children happy, but healthy enough to keep parents from feeling guilty. Those little cups have been breakfast on rushed mornings, quick after-school snacks, and bedtime treats, carrying the promise that you're doing something good for your child. But what if that cheerful cup of yogurt is less a treat and more a booby trap sitting quietly in your fridge? The recall's enough to make any parent's stomach drop. Multiple Yo Crunch flavors, vanilla with M&Ms, vanilla with Oreos, vanilla with Snickers, vanilla with Twix, vanilla with cookie dough, and strawberry with granola, have been pulled because of sharp plastic fragments found in the toppings. Some of these jagged pieces measured nearly an inch, big enough to cut gums, choke a child, or even cause internal damage if swallowed. Parents have reported opening the cups and finding shards mixed right in with the candy toppings, like splinters hiding in a candy jar. The FDA's warning covers 6-ounce single cups, as well as 4-pack, 8-pack, and even 18-pack sizes, with Best Buy dates stretching from July to September of 2025. That means the yogurt sitting in your refrigerator right now could be a hidden time bomb waiting for the first bite. Think about what that really means. Yogurt is supposed to be one of the safest foods you can give a child, soft, easy to eat, and full of protein. Now imagine peeling back that foil lid, handing it to your kid, and watching them bite down on a piece of hard plastic sharp enough to slice their mouth open. One mother who contacted a consumer hotline said she pulled out a shard the size of my pinky nail, but as sharp as a broken bottle. Try to picture the panic of realizing that fun snack could have ended with a hospital visit. And it's not just about bad luck. Plastic shards don't magically appear. Food safety experts point to serious failures in Danone's manufacturing process. Either machines were breaking down and no one noticed, or damaged packaging was being thrown into production batches without inspection. What makes it worse is how long this went on products for multiple months were affected before anyone sounded the alarm. For a company that proudly calls itself a global leader in health-focused dairy, this isn't just sloppy, it's downright reckless. There's another layer to this problem that Danone would rather you ignore. Investigations into overseas yogurt factories, including some tied to Danone's supply chain, have raised repeated concerns about working conditions. Workers are reportedly pushed through long, exhausting shifts to meet high production quotas, and when people are treated like overworked cogs in a machine, quality control takes the first hit. Should it surprise anyone that something as obvious as plastic shards slip through yet? Danone keeps selling Yo Crunch with those smiling kids on the label, promising safe and fun snacking. The contrast feels almost darkly funny, like a clown handing you a balloon while quietly tying your shoelaces together just to watch you trip. Parents buy Yo Crunch thinking they're choosing something safe and wholesome, only to find out they've been tricked into handing their kids a hazard disguised as a snack. If Yo Crunch has been a regular in your home, it's time to rethink those choices. Stonyfield Organic Kids. Yogurt has scored high in independent safety tests and follows stricter organic regulations, giving it tighter quality control. Siggy's Kids Yogurt keeps things simple, avoiding complicated topping machinery altogether, which means fewer risks of foreign objects. And if the toppings are what your kids love, you can always add crushed cookies or fresh fruit to plain yogurt yourself. At least you'll know exactly what's going into that cup. Danone worked hard to become the brand parents trusted, the easy choice when life got busy. But after this recall, that trust feels like a cruel joke. A snack that can cut your child's mouth or choke them isn't a treat. It's a trap with a smiling face on the label, and it leaves a question no parent should ever have to ask: are we giving our kids healthy snacks? Or are we just feeding them danger dressed up in cheerful packaging? Number 4, Del Monte. Del Monte has always carried itself like an old friend sitting in your kitchen cabinet, the kind of friend you didn't question, the one you trusted enough to invite to dinner without ever asking what they brought. Those green and yellow cans have been as familiar as family photos on the wall, a quiet reassurance during storms, tight paychecks, and long winters. People didn't buy Del Monte just for the vegetables inside. They bought the comfort of knowing it was safe, the same way their parents and grandparents once did. But trust, like a can left too long in a damp cellar, can corrode faster than you think. 200,000 cans of Good & Gather cut green beans, produced by Del Monte for Target, have been recalled because of foreign matter contamination. And here's the part that should make your hands hesitate the next time you reach into the pantry. Del Monte admitted it doesn't even know what the foreign matter is. not plastic, not metal, just an ominous "we're not sure." That's like someone handing you a sealed box and warning, "Don't shake it too hard, something dangerous might be inside," but we have no idea what it is. For a product designed to sit quietly on shelves for months or years, that kind of uncertainty feels less like convenience and more like playing Russian roulette with your dinner. Green beans may sound innocent, but for countless families, especially older Americans living on fixed incomes, canned vegetables are not just side dishes. They're staples. They're stacked high in cupboards because they're cheap, last nearly forever, and don't need fancy preparation when power outages hit in winter or hurricanes close stores. Those cans become the only dependable meal in the house. Now imagine pulling one out during an emergency, feeling proud of being prepared, only to discover later that you may have fed your family something that could cut, poison, or make them sick. One Target shopper said it best after the recall notice hit, "I have 20 cans sitting in my pantry for emergencies. I thought I was being careful, but now it feels like I've been stockpiling poison." And the question that should really keep you up at night is why this happened at all. Food safety experts say foreign object contamination in canned goods usually points to sloppy maintenance or rushed handling. Metal shavings can fall from unserviced machinery, and bits of plastic or debris can slip in when tired workers have to keep conveyor belts moving at breakneck speed. Industry whistleblowers have complained for years that big canning companies are pushing production lines to the edge to meet supermarket demands, skipping critical inspections just to keep quotas. Del Monte, once famous for tight quality control, now seems more interested in keeping up with giants like Target and Walmart than keeping your food clean. Behind the marketing, the picture gets uglier. Labor reports describe harsh conditions in some Del Monte processing plants, long shifts, few breaks, and overworked employees moving like machines. And when exhausted workers are treated like parts of a factory assembly line, mistakes stop being accidents. They become inevitable. Meanwhile, Del Monte's advertisements still show sunny fields, fresh-picked vegetables, and happy families at dinner tables. But what good is a slogan about farm-fresh goodness if the can on your shelf could contain a shard of mystery material? It's like buying a lottery ticket where the prize is food poisoning if you rely heavily on canned vegetables. There are safer ways to stock your pantry. Eden Foods, for example, has built a reputation for strict organic certification and frequent independent testing. Consumer groups consistently praise its transparency and low recall rates. Frozen vegetables are another option. Flash freezing tends to follow safer processes than mass canning, reducing contamination risks. And if you have the time and access, buying fresh beans from local markets and freezing them yourself may take extra effort, but at least you know exactly what's in that bag. Del Monte built its legacy on trust. The kind of trust that made people grab a can without even reading the label. But now every can feels like a question mark. What's inside just beans? Or something you'll regret finding out the hard way for a brand that's been part of American kitchens for more than a century. This isn't just another recall, it feels like betrayal, and for those who've depended on that trust to get through hard times, it stings like a personal slap in the face. Number 5, August Egg Company. Eggs have always been the comfort food you don't have to second guess. They were cheap, versatile, and sitting in nearly every American fridge like an old friend you trust without question. They're cracked open for Sunday breakfasts, whisked into birthday cakes, and turned into quick dinners when the wallet feels too thin to stretch anywhere else. For older Americans, eggs are more than just food. They're a dependable source of protein that doesn't break the bank. A grocery staple you can count on even when everything else feels uncertain. But what happens when that symbol of reliability turns out to be the very thing putting you in danger? That question has become painfully real with the massive recall tied to August Egg Company, one of the largest egg recalls in recent memory. Over 20.4 million eggs, packaged into more than 1.7 million cartons, have been pulled from store shelves after being linked to a salmonella outbreak that has already caused 134 infections, 38 hospitalizations, and 1 death in California. The outbreak has stretched across 10 states: Arkansas, California, Kentucky, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, Washington, Utah, Colorado, and Kansas. Take a moment to absorb that. Millions of eggs quietly sitting in kitchens nationwide, many in homes that may never even hear about the recall. This isn't just a statistic, it's breakfast tables, family recipes, and kids' lunchboxes filled with what might as well be a deadly game of roulette. These aren't boutique eggs from fancy health stores. They're the budget cartons stacked high at Walmart and other grocery chains. The eggs people trust because they fit into a tight budget. Now picture cracking one open for a simple omelet, never suspecting that it could land you in the hospital. Salmonella isn't just a mild stomach bug. For older adults, kids, or anyone with weaker immune systems, it can lead to severe dehydration, long-term complications, or death. One California family has already suffered the worst outcome, and dozens more are still lying in hospital beds, paying the price for a breakfast they thought was safe. The cause of this disaster isn't some mysterious act of fate. It's rooted in industrial farming practices that prize speed and profit over safety. Investigations into similar outbreaks have revealed that massive producers, including suppliers for August Egg Company, cram hens into overcrowded, filthy cages where bacteria spread like wildfire. Manure piles up under cages. Flies and insects carry contamination from one row to another, and conveyor belts coated in waste particles move eggs through the system. Even one infected batch can contaminate millions of eggs when sanitation protocols are skipped. And skipped they are. Former workers have admitted that management pushes lines to keep moving no matter what, with one saying, "If the line stops for cleaning." They yell about how much money's being lost. The ethics behind this are just as rotten. Animal welfare groups have exposed horrifying conditions in large-scale egg facilities. Birds crammed so tight they can barely move. Some left with infected wounds, others dead but still trapped in cages alongside the living. Science is clear. Sick and stressed animals shed more bacteria, making contamination all but inevitable. So that cheap carton you picked up may not just cost less money. It might also cost you your health because the system treats animals, and by extension, you. Most of what you want as expendable. Meanwhile, the packaging keeps up the charade. August Egg Company eggs are sold in cartons with cheerful pictures of open fields and happy hens, covered in slogans like farm fresh and quality guaranteed. The truth. Those eggs come from barns that look more like biohazard zones than sunny pastures. It's like being handed a postcard of a beautiful meadow when what you're really getting is a product straight out of a bacterial petri dish. But you're not trapped with bad choices. Pasture-raised eggs from smaller local farms, especially those labeled certified humane, are far safer because they come from healthier hens raised in cleaner conditions. Prices can be higher, but farmers markets often have deals that rival big box stores, especially when you buy in bulk. For those who need the convenience of supermarket shopping, Vital Farms is a strong alternative. Their pasture-raised eggs consistently receive high safety ratings, and their supply chain is fully transparent. Eggs were supposed to be the food you didn't have to think twice about, the one thing you could trust when everything else in life felt uncertain. But now, cracking open a shell feels like opening a mystery box, and the surprise inside could be hospital bills, permanent health problems, or worse, for a company feeding millions. This isn't just a recall, it's a betrayal of the trust that made people put those eggs on their tables in the first place. Number 6. Target. Target has worked hard to look like the better choice. Cleaner stores, slick branding, and that polished red bullseye promising a touch more trust than Walmart. The Good and Gather brand was supposed to be the safer, healthier option for families trying to stretch every dollar without feeling like they were buying bottom-shelf groceries. But that image just cracked wide open. 200,000 cans of Good and Gather cut green beans, produced by Del Monte for Target, have been recalled across 21 states because of foreign object contamination. And here's the part that should make you uneasy: nobody knows what's actually in those cans. Target admitted they might contain metal, plastic, or something worse, but they aren't sure. Picture opening a can for a quick dinner or holiday side dish, not knowing if you're about to serve up a shard of mystery material along with your vegetables. For older Americans and low-income families, canned vegetables are essential. Cheap, easy, and dependable. They're what you reach for during storms, tight weeks, or power outages. Now imagine trusting that Good and Gather label, only to discover later you gambled with your health because safety took a back seat to cheap outsourcing. Former insiders have even said the brand was designed to look premium, not to be premium. If you need safer options, Eden Foods has a long track record of strict testing, and frozen vegetables are often processed under cleaner conditions. Target promised better, but this recall proves the only thing truly premium might be the marketing. Number 7. Costco. Costco has built its name on trust, clean stores, friendly service, and bulk deals that feel like smart shopping, not cutting corners, for retirees and working families. That membership card is almost a badge of pride, promising both savings and quality. But the truth is, even Costco isn't untouchable when it comes to the hidden dangers of mass production, and the cracks in that shiny reputation are hard to ignore. In 2023, Costco was linked to a romaine lettuce E. coli outbreak that sickened more than 80 people across multiple states. Romaine isn't a luxury item, it's in sandwiches, tacos, quick salads. For older shoppers told to eat healthy, this wasn't just an upset stomach. E. coli can trigger kidney failure, severe dehydration, or worse, one hospitalized customer said, "I thought I was eating healthy. Now I'm scared to touch lettuce at all." The problem runs deeper than one bad batch. Costco's massive supply chain depends on industrial farms under relentless pressure to churn out crops, where crowded fields and shared irrigation spread contamination fast. Add overworked laborers skipping safety steps, and it's a recipe for disaster. If you can't give up bulk shopping, safer options exist. Thrive Market enforces strict sourcing, and CSA programs let you buy in bulk directly from local farms. For meat, ButcherBox offers cleaner, responsibly sourced options. Costco sells convenience, but when bulk greens and meats come with health risks, those savings might cost far more than you bargained for. So here we are, standing face to face with the uncomfortable truth. The stores we trusted, the brands we thought cared about us, are playing a dangerous game with our health. Every carton of eggs, every can of beans, every cheap yogurt cup suddenly feels like a loaded gun pointed at our families. And if this is what we know, what about what they're still hiding? How many more recalls will it take before we stop blindly trusting shiny labels and start demanding answers? You deserve to know the truth, because this isn't just about food, it's about your life, your children, your future.
Thanks a lot for sticking with us to the very end. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss any daily uploads. And now go ahead and explore some of our top recommended videos popping up on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.